This feast has a lot of deep meaning and deep symbolism for all of us here, even the meaning of the words itself. The word epiphany means manifestation, and this is one of the manifestations of the Christ child. On Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, we heard the manifestation of the Christ child to the shepherds who were Jewish, and today we hear the manifestation of the Christ child to Gentiles, these three visitors from the East. And they've had different names over the years, not their proper names, I'll talk about that in a minute, but they've been called magi, they've been called kings, they've been called wise men, and all of them could fit. Certainly wise men, that they knew what they were doing, they followed their science, etc. Astrologers, they studied the night sky and saw a new star, which was to symbolize the birth of a new king. Magi, we get the word magician from there, but it wasn't that they were magic, but that they were, again, astute, they were sharp, they were very, very brilliant. We use the number 3 in the Western church, the Latin church, because 3 gifts are brought: gold, frankincense, and myrrh. But in the Eastern church, they have 12 wise men, one for each of the 12 tribes of Israel. And we've given names to them: Caspar, Balthazar, and Melchior. But those names aren't in the Bible. You heard the passage that Deacon AJ just read. So we added those names in the course of tradition. Now you've heard perhaps the cute little story. What if they had been wise women? Well, first of all, they would have stopped and asked for directions. Because we men never do. They would have arrived on time. They would have helped deliver the baby. And they would have brought some practical gifts. Like a crib, diapers, baby pajamas, a bassinet, whatever. Gold, frankincense, myrrh, what's the little baby going to do with all that stuff? Anyway, I want to talk about those gifts because they're symbolic, not just for what they meant for the Christ child, but how they can be a challenge for all of us just 6 days into a new year. First of all, gold. They brought gold because he was a king. Frankincense. They brought frankincense because he was a priest. And myrrh, because he would suffer, because myrrh was the ointment used to anoint his body before he was placed in the tomb after he died on the cross. So this Christ child would be king, he'd be priest, and he'd be a suffering servant. Now, what is the challenge there for us? We too should be royal people. Not royal like the kings and queens of nations here on earth, but belonging to the kingdom of God and making that kingdom of God more present in today. Later on in Mass, most of us pray this prayer probably a couple times a day. We say, thy kingdom come. We're not saying, I want to die today and get to heaven, the heavenly kingdom. We're saying, I want the kingdom to come now, January 6, 2024, by what I do to make that kingdom happen. We're told over and over again that Jesus' kingdom is not like any other kingdom on earth. It's not a kingdom of power or prestige. It's a kingdom of justice, a kingdom of peace, a kingdom of harmony, a kingdom of joy. So how will you, during this new year, further that kingdom, symbolized by the gift of gold? Will you make the world a better place by your words, your actions, your decisions, and so on? The gift of frankincense meant that he was to be a priest because incense is used in many religious ceremonies. How are you going to be more priestly? Through baptism, as we baptize these 3 children tonight, we're saying they are priest, prophet, and king. They're anointed with oil as Christ was anointed priest, prophet, and king. So we all belong to the priestly class. Some of us are ordained ministers, like Deacon AJ and myself and Father Jojo. But everyone, by virtue of baptism, becomes a priestly person. So what is your prayer life going to be like? Hopefully it can be stronger. All of us can make a stronger prayer life year by year, not just Mass on Saturday night or Sunday, but other prayer opportunities during a week. What can you do to be a holier, more Christ-like person in your relationship to God by virtue of prayer? And myrrh, the symbol of a suffering servant, how can we attend to those who are suffering? How can we be ministers to those who are hurting? Again, every weekend of the year, we ask you to bring food for these big bins up here because people are suffering in Las Vegas. Some people who've never been to Las Vegas think that money grows on trees and we're all rich and we all just, make lots of money. We have a huge homeless population here. Our deacon, Tom Roberts, can tell you all about the homeless as he's in charge of Catholic Charities. And so how are you going to help those who are suffering, who are hurting? It could be people in your own family, people who are sick, people who are ill. How can you tend to them, be more patient with them? I realize sometimes when adults are taking care of their aging parents, how difficult that can be, especially if their parents have Alzheimer's or dementia. Oftentimes, they're not the same person that you knew all your life, but they are a mother, a father, a grandparent, whatever. So those three gifts symbolize what Jesus was going to be, priest, prophet, suffering servant, can challenge us. Again, can we have a stronger relationship in the kingdom by furthering the kingdom? Gold. Can we have a stronger prayer life? Spend more time with the Lord? Frankincense. And can we attend to the needs of those who are suffering and hurting? Myrrh. And one last suggestion, that star. That star was a shining light in the dark sky. Jesus is our star today. He said that of himself, I am the light that shines in the darkness. But he also said, let your light shine before others, giving praise to God. And so again, how can you be a shining star? And what happened to the wise men? They were told by an angel, don't go back to Herod, because Herod has evil plans. We know that he planned to eventually kill the Christ child, and he did that horrible act of killing every baby 2 years or younger, every baby boy 2 years younger in Bethlehem. So they were told to go back to their home by another way. Do you need to change your life path this year? Are you walking down a road that is not a healthy road for you? Are you addicted to alcohol, tobacco, gambling, sex, whatever? That's the wrong path. Do you need to change your journey? Find a new journey to walk down this year. Follow a new star. That star is Jesus Christ. So that's the beautiful symbolism of this feast. These men were wise because they followed the star wherever it took them. May we do the same. Where is Jesus calling you to follow him? How will you perhaps take a different path, a different road this year, 2024, and make yourself a healthier, holier, happier person and make this world a better place?